Hello, and welcome to another week's edition of Leading Change. I thank you for diving into this, and I want to talk a little bit about last week and some technical stuff that I want to address a little bit, and then look ahead to what's coming this week for your discussion. First of all, thanks for those of you that dialed in, tried different things. Some of your groups I know had some technical difficulties, so I've tried to communicate with you. Last week I met with Laurel, who does our online learning, is our resource person for that, and we looked at some other platforms that were free, that were maybe more accessible. All of those had their different logins, and I'm not sure would be any better support than this one. So we're going to keep using Google Hangout as far as what we can offer you. Reminder that headphones are really helpful in muting for the extra noise with regard to that. And if you're just having struggles with the online, we did check back and we now have the conference call line working. There was a different password that needed. They changed some things with our phone system. So that information is updated in there. If you have another platform that you have access to, or if there's just two of you and you want to do a call on your own, that is totally fine. Just want to let you know that we're working on that and we're trying to do some things with regard to helping that go a little bit smoother. So with that, thanks for your patience with that, and we'll hopefully be on target better this week. So also a reminder that I'm going to send out an email after this that will have the link, but remember to give me a link back on those feedback forms on how it went, how was your discussion, so I can be learning from each of these sessions and updating the group as a whole. I did get a chance to talk with one of the groups more in depth, and so one of the things that I updated on this week's resource list at the bottom are some resources on thinking about organizations as systems through the lens of and theory of life cycles of organizations. So as we look this coming week, as leading systems as systems, thinking of congregations that way, there are three types of links. One is looking at the life cycle theory through just general organization. A lot of that's through business, and so some of those ways that they calculate vibrancy and robustness of a organization through a business might be different than congregations. So I also added some things on nonprofit. There's a nice little article that is there. And then there's a chart that goes with, as you think about the different aspects of an organization, how does each stage look, and how might you, if you're changing or you're trying to move, how does that look like? So I think that chart will be very helpful. I have found it helpful with regard to the conversations I've had here. One of the tricky part about life cycle in an organization is it looks internally, it doesn't really talk about the external environment. So sometimes there's things going on in the external environment that aren't accounted for, but it's still a helpful lens. It's one piece of a larger puzzle. And then the last one set of resources is from Alban. That's no longer a resource that's no longer available, but a lot of their past resources are there. And they look at this in regard to congregations. And then there's a PowerPoint that kind of walks through what that looks like. I find that kind of a helpful tool for helping congregations maybe doing some teaching or working with a leadership group. So I give you those resources at the bottom. So now, as we're looking and moving into this conversation about systems, the TED Talk kind of talks about how we look at the complexity of systems and what those pieces are. So as you move into your case study and into your conversation, what is it from that learning as you look at organizations through a system lens that might give you insight to your case study? First, what did you learn? And then how might that connect in some way to your ministry setting in general or specifically to your case? The other thing is contextually is I want you to step back a little bit and think about your case in your ministry setting from a historical standpoint. What happens if you go back 5 years? What happens if you go back 10 years? Some of your congregations or ministries have a long history, so maybe it's 50 years or maybe it's 100 years. What happens when you look back? Are there themes? Are there patterns? What is it from that you might draw in and say, I wonder what that means for us today, both in general and with regard to your case study? Are there moments where you've been stuck? Is there times where there's times for expansion or drawing something from the past into the present in a new way? That actually might give you perspective for your case study. So with that, I just want to say once again, thanks for this. I will look forward to hearing how this week goes and how your conversations go. I thank you for those of you that have been commenting in the TED Eds online, and I will continue to respond into those. And don't forget to email me if you have some questions. Thanks.